Whoa, what's up? We're here.
Here we are.
We're here. We weren't that late. It's not a big deal.
No.
I wouldn't worry about it at all.
Again, it's our show.
I've never had a job where I have to show up on time. So
And if you're calling this a job, we have so many problems. We have so many things to
for
discuss.
tax purposes,
Yeah, very true. For tax purposes, exactly.
Actually, can you turn mine up a little hair?
I thought you were
Just a
about to be like,
hair
actually,
there.
for
Hair.
taxes.
That's great.
What are taxes? Hey, for all of the video people who are on the live stream, it says that the audio is a little weird. If you hear something, let me know, because I don't know what is wrong with it. I got no idea.
Everything just quieter today.
It should. Nothing's changed.
You didn't replace it with like a quieter cable.
I did look at that recently. I looked at buying a quieter cable, and then I decided, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe I won't buy the quieter one.
Yeah.
But whatever. It is what it is.
Heather says it sounds good in the chat, and I trust her.
Hey, and that's good that you trust. You should trust.
And
her.
I do.
If you didn't trust her, I would probably say you should go home and figure it out and figure out what's going on. Okay.
I don't know what you just changed, but nothing changed for me.
Oh,
so.
I changed something for later.
Okay.
I changed something for that's all.
That's ominous.
I wouldn't.
And Ian says it sounds great there, and I trust him.
And where he is, everything's like backwards, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if it sounds good there, is that good?
It's like
or bad?
it's like a 20-second delay.
Yeah.
Whatever the phone delay is.
It's like a 10-year delay.
Well, that's in culture.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Morning. Welcome to Don't Be the Artist. I'm Hagen.
Dave?
I'm late.
That was good. That was quick. That was nice.
Yeah.
How you doing, Adam?
I'm good. Busy day. I'm going out of town tomorrow, so I've had a lot of things I'm catching up on.
Where you going?
Milwaukee.
Oh.
He's
As
going
you
to
do.
Milwaukee. He's going to Milwaukee. Just so I
Is
remember.
that a phrase?
Oh.
Just so I remember.
No, I'll be
Nice.
back for the next episode.
Oh.
Well, just so he remembers that when you say next week,
I'm-
that
I
you're
guess
in
I'm
town,
gonna go,
he's not,
How
like,
was
shocked.
Milwaukee?
I guess on Friday, yeah, then Dave can be like, well, he's somewhere, but he didn't tell us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, usually it is a kind of a thing that I don't tell you guys where I'm going.
Yeah.
I just-
I think it's the first time we've asked.
No, you tell
I
us
tell,
if we
well,
ask.
I tell one of you at least.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that we don't remember, or we choose to not say where you are in a public setting, just so
Yeah.
it's just in
Oh,
case.
that's fair.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Were you,
OPSEC is kind of bad on that, huh?
were you volunteering today?
No.
Okay.
Volunteering what?
For voting.
Voting
Voting?
stuff.
Oh, no,
yeah.
no.
Are you doing that?
I'm not this year.
Okay.
You don't feel like she needs your help?
That's not how volunteering for
No,
that works.
I know.
Just
Yeah.
that's what.
Just
That's
to make it clear, I've worked in the past as a voter, whatever the right word is, I can't think now. Person who works at the voting day
yeah.
setup thing. Voting attendant? I don't know. There is a right word, and I'm forgetting what it
You've
is.
done it.
Voting clerk, voting judge.
Okay, yeah,
I've been
yeah.
both of those.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you get a gavel?
no, it's not that kind of judge.
Oh, damn.
It's
Then I'm not
it's-
doing it.
It's challenge Republicans because we're in Texas. Challenge the Republican judge on something they're claiming that is not true.
Right. Okay. Understood.
That sounds bad. But that's
Well-
how it is in Texas.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing that this year. I was going to, and then kind of too busy right now this time of year for work.
Yeah.
And the whole assassination attempt thing kind of made me go, I'm good.
Yeah. That's
So-
fair. That's fair. I've seen a lot of people who are early voting who are going in wearing merch of the person that they are.
You can't do
and
that.
you can't do
Yeah.
that. And then apparently there was one where the person like told them, "Hey, you can't wear that," and then screamed who they were going to vote for, and they were a volunteer. And the other volunteers were like, "You gotta go. You can't be here if you're doing that. You, as a volunteer, you can't say who you're voting."
That's very, very illegal.
yeah. You gotta go, dude.
Somebody didn't pay attention to their $3.50 training that they went to.
That you get paid $3.50 or you have to pay $3.50?
You get paid $3.50 or something like that to go to training.
Hey, you know, that's, I guess.
It's an online training, to be fair. So I guess actually they probably didn't pay any attention.
Sure. Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
What are you going to do in Milwaukee? As Ian says, it's pronounced Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
My wife and I like Milwaukee, and we just like going there. And her grandmother lives there, so we'll visit her grandmother, go do stuff up there. We don't really have a plan exactly.
That
gonna
sounds like fun.
Bring back good beer.
We will bring back beer. Yeah, we're taking 2 suitcases for a weekend trip to bring back beer. So
That's great.
don't worry. there will be more beer.
Excellent. I wasn't really worried. I was just asking.
yeah,
That's all. That's all.
Because
Yeah.
they are famously the beer I brought back last time. That's the beer you can only get in Wisconsin.
Well, and the beer there is really good.
Spotted
Yeah.
Cow?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the only place you can get it legally. You guys probably get it in Canada, actually.
No, I've
You probably had
no,
people
I don't think so.
smuggling it up there.
Smuggling.
Maybe on that border.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm thinking.
Smuggling Spotted Cow.
Jesus Christ. Christ set the border, everybody.
they're it's like the number 11 or 12 selling beer in the country, and they're only in one state. So
Crazy. Yeah, there's definitely something.
pretty crazy.
Definitely
either
something
people
going
drink
on.
a lot, which they do,
They
or
do. It's
they're also
Milwaukee.
selling
Wow.
it outside of state.
Yeah.
Little of this, little of that.
Yeah.
That's that sounds like a lot of fun. Dave, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Great.
I got nothing, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's really good. Well, you guys have to read what my shirt says. This is a
Does it also say vote?
I don't know if we need to talk about spelling, but it starts with a B. So
okay.
it says boat.
Vote.
It says blast.
Yeah, Adam, give it a shot.
Am I saying what this is from?
No, you just got to say it. You just got to say what's on my shirt.
Blessed. Like a vampire
We almost
saying
got
blessed.
there. No.
No, it's like the metal, the blech, and then it's blech.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually quite hard to say. To say the blech and then the st afterwards. It's like-
Blast.
yeah, blessed. Yeah,
You got to
exactly.
just hang on to the S.
Yeah, you just got to keep going.
I'm not made for that.
My wife got me this shirt for our wedding anniversary, and I love it very much.
Happy anniversary.
Thank
Anniversary.
you. It was yesterday. Thanks for remembering.
It's in my
Jack.
calendar.
We knew that.
It's in my calendar.
Just like next to Jackson's birthday.
Yeah, I'm gonna message you in like I don't know 20 years. Happy 4th anniversary,
Hey, happy 4th.
3rd anniversary.
Ian, yes, Dahmer was from Milwaukee. Thank you for that fun fact.
Oh, okay. A lot of people are from there.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah.
So, we're here today to discuss two particular topics of conversation that I am very passionate about.
What do you got? What's on your mind?
So, but before I really dive into this, I would like to just share with the class how many notes, how long my notes are, and my writing of this, and you guys don't get to see it, but I'm going to show to these two how long I have. This is for the two topics, but this is
That's a book report for school.
this is either, and I called them book reports.
Yeah.
This is
we've done that before.
yeah,
we
exactly. Yeah, this is either my magnum opus for the podcast, or it's going to be an unmitigated, unbridled disaster.
It can be both.
That's what Kara said.
Yeah.
Kara said, "Well, what if it's both?" And it totally could be. But these are some topics that have been going around lately in the music world, in music news, that I feel I'm really passionate about, and there's a lot of issues going around with these things. So we're first going to tackle the disaster and disappointment that is When We Were Young Fest 2024. Okay, now I want to start all of this by saying I wasn't there last weekend.
This
Okay.
is the second one or the third
Third
they've
one.
done?
Third.
Third one. Yeah, third one.
Okay.
Yeah, the third one.
I mean, we know somebody who went to the first one.
Yeah, and that was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
According to their website, there was 4 of them.
There was one like 2016, I think.
2017,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
it was,
that's
and it wasn't
before-
in Vegas. I think it was somewhere
before
else.
times.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So I want to first start off by saying I was not there. Everything that I'm gonna say is from researching on the internet, watching TikToks, all this kind of stuff. If you were there and you had a great time, I'm not here to take that away from you. I don't want to take that away from you. If you had a great time at this festival, that's fucking awesome. I am simply doing this to hold these scummy companies and corporations that put these festivals on accountable, because man, is it fucked up. But before we go too far in, we just discussed this is the 3rd year of When We Were Young, but what is When We Were Young Fest? Just for people who don't know, what is it?
Cash grab.
Correct.
It's a throwback festival, right? To like
Yeah, Nostalgia Fest.
Probably
Yeah,
the most
Nostalgia
famous.
It's the one
them?
that kind of kicked off the whole
Yeah.
trend of Nostalgia Fest.
I'm not going to say it was the first, but it was the first big one. Certainly.
Yeah.
And this is the one part of perhaps my research I missed, is I don't have the company who runs all this, but they also are responsible for Sick New World, which is another
Isn't it all
Nostalgia
like
Fest.
Ticketmaster subsidiaries?
Well, perhaps, yeah, it might be. But the main point of this is just this is a festival that is not here for you, and neither is it here for the bands, which is kind of my main point. So
Yeah, it's not for the art of it. It is for the money.
it is for money. So the lineup for this year was announced in November of 2023. It was leaked, and then all the bands confirmed it. They're like, "Yep, good to go." The main two headliners for this particular When We Were Young was Fall Out Boy and My Chemical Romance. Now, do you guys know what the gimmick for this year's When We Were Young was? Like, what the selling point was?
I have an idea. Is it that they're supposed to play their most famous album?
Yeah,
Back to front?
You could say most famous album. It's just an album of theirs,
album,
right?
okay.
The whole premise is that a band was going to play an album of theirs from front to back. Okay,
Which is not surprising with all the anniversaries we've been talking about this year.
That's very
been
true.
a thing with a lot of tours recently. Like Anderson .Paak did his.
Malibu tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you look if you look here on the screen, sorry for the audio listeners, I have some images for this episode, so sorry you're going to miss out on that.
It'll be in the chapter art.
There you
if
go.
you're listening in not Apple Podcasts.
So here I have it small, but I have the initial art, the image of the announcement. It's kind of a cute little idea CD, and they have like all the albums listed. It's very hard to see because there are 53 bands.
Oh my God.
So it's a lot. Now, for those who aren't aware, When We Were Young Fest is a one-day festival. 53 bands, one day. For everyone who's like, oh, no, there's 2 days. You're right, but day 2 is the exact same as day 1. It's the same lineup. It's the same bands. It's the same shit. They're fitting 53 bands into one day. This is not the same thing. It's perhaps a bad comparison, but Adam, we've planned festivals before.
Uh-huh.
Would you say it's possible to fit 50 bands in one day?
I would say we probably were dumb and thought we could, but then we didn't.
We didn't do that. No, I think we did. I think the most it was 10 bands a day.
Yeah.
I think that was
10. I was trying to count on the poster back there. I think 10, maybe we'll say 12.
Sure. Okay.
And
Now
that's probably 2 stages.
we're
Even at a little house.
right.
venue.
Yeah, we're not at all on the same level as this. It's just what I can relate to as this. We've booked a festival. We've gone through the process of the scheduling.
We've been to a single day festival.
Yep.
Also.
Yeah.
In California, we went to Cal Jam.
Yep.
And that was a single day festival that maybe had a dozen bands total.
Yeah, I was going to say there
I think
weren't
it was-
50 bands.
Yeah, I think it was probably something about like
It was
20.
a manageable amount of bands, and there was one stage.
Yeah. There was more than
Well-
one, but it was like there was one main stage, and
Yeah.
then there was like the 2 side stages
Right.
that were kind of far off from
That
the main stage.
Also weren't really promoted.
No, and it was
So-
just yeah. They put a lot of the smaller bands there,
Yeah.
and then all the big bands on the main stage. So 53 bands in one day. A lot of bands shoved into a small window of time. So what I have next for us to look at here is going to be the schedule. And the schedule here, again, it's kind of small, so sorry for everybody who's looking at that on the screen, but it's no matter what, it's small. It's hard to look at. There are a total of 5 stages for 53 bands. What we'll look at here just real quickly is the map. So when Jackson went, he described this for us. But the map, the way it works, the stages, there are 2 stages that are next to each other that turn, right?
And they alternate.
They alternate.
off of those.
Yeah, exactly. So like one band here finishes, and then this next stage starts. And while this band is starting, the other stage on the backside is flipping around with the next band who's ready to start. Now I've asked people who have been to these festivals, by no stretch of the imagination is it one after the other. There is downtime between that. It's not like you're done, start. I think Jackson said year 1 it was like that, but I've asked people who went to some of these other ones, and they said it is not. There is downtime between the sets. So for the set times, you run into some problems. It's not too terrible, but just to think about the fact that you have bands that are trying to play full albums, you run into a really big problem, which is where our issue starts today.
Can I ask how many bands played the other festivals, if we remember?
I don't
because I
there
don't
was a
think it
lot,
was that many.
But I don't think it was yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lot, but I don't think it was that many.
So they definitely got more that they tried to cram in here. And
Yes.
I feel bad for the designer who had to put together that set list, and I'm sure told them this is too much.
Yeah.
To even fit and be read. But
So as we're a week out from When We Were Young, so that's 2 weeks ago, right? And All American Rejects drops off the bill. Okay.
Good sign.
They make an official announcement.
They make an official announcement that they have dropped off the bill. The announcement saying it is with deep sadness and disappointment that we have to announce that we will no longer be playing When We Were Young Festival next weekend. We have spent months tirelessly preparing a once-in-a-lifetime show we were so excited to bring to you. However, there has been a management change within the When We Were Young operation, and they are no longer able to accommodate us in the previously agreed upon lineup, which has made it impossible for us to continue. We are especially devastated to not get to play for those of you who are traveling across the globe to witness the visual and sonic spectacle we have been brewing up in our cauldron. We'd like to apologize to our amazing crew who have been working around the clock to make the magic happen. So they released this statement a week before the festival. Basically, the idea is that there was change in management, and their time slot was switched with somebody, with Boys Like Girls to be exact. No, it's unclear where they were switched to, but the idea is that they were switched to a daytime slot. They were supposed to be slated to play at 6:30, and it would have been dark, and they could have done all their stage spectacles and all that kind of stuff. And they were slated to be during the day now, so they couldn't do what they were going to do. A lot of people were on the internet giving them a really hard time. Like, this is so fucked. Like, I can't believe that, like, you would drop off, blah, 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 blah. Which is then when we get the chiming in of Coheed and Cambria's drummer on Twitter. He says, something tells me there's quite a few bands miffed about the way the fest has handled things. Ahem, ahem. Another Twitter person says, a couple bands miffed about their spot on a giant festival, LOL. Hardly shocking. These things are a dick measuring contest for y'all, and I bet arguing over who plays after you. Drummer for Coheed says, or maybe miffed about being asked to play a certain album and then 2 weeks before the fest being told album is too long and having to switch everything around. But what do you care about reality? You have your own cool story all figured out. Okay, anyway. Burn.
So were they going to be playing there?
Coheed played.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were playing Good Apollo. It's an album that is over an hour long.
Yeah.
An hour and 6 minutes, right?
About, yeah.
Who thought that was good?
I know
the
organizers.
Answer. The answer is the suits at Live Nation.
Yeah, the organizers thought this was good. So then 2 weeks out, it's not just Coheed. It's every band is basically told you cannot play your album from front to back.
Hey, you know that thing we were doing and based the whole festival around this
And
year?
sold tickets on?
You're not doing that. The whole festival is about bands playing their whole album. You have spent an absorbent amount of money and likely traveled to see, let's say in the grand scheme, one of your favorite bands or a favorite band of yours playing an album. You now are, one, not going to get to see that full album, and two, because of the time slots and because of the way it all works out, you got to run from other side to side to potentially see. It's not always the case, but to potentially see all that kind of stuff. On the day of, I was seeing people post on TikTok, like, just a heads up, bands are playing some songs from the album and not in order. So bands just said, fuck it. They just said, absolutely fuck it. And started just writing different set lists, playing different sets. Because why the fuck wouldn't they? I mean, what are you supposed to do in that scenario? You've been told for a year, however long ago they booked this. It was announced November of 2023, but who knows when they said yes.
Way before that.
Exactly.
I mean, what I would have, I don't know if maybe this did happen. I would love to have had like a couple of those bands be like, well, we're going to still play the whole album. Like, fuck you. What are you going to do? Like,
Some bands did.
Some bands did.
I was hoping so, because like, just imagine, like, well, fine, make them turn us off.
And
like,
they did.
But
The used
that's
got cut
amazing.
off.
Yeah.
The used got turned off.
I haven't seen anything about this, obviously. So
So some bands did in fact go, yeah, we're just gonna keep playing, and the used got cut off. Some people were like really pissed that some bands kept playing because it cut into the other band's time slot.
It's kind of a dick move in that regard, but it's a dick move all around.
Yeah, it's like, what else are you supposed to do?
Well, that's them trying to do two wrongs make it right.
Well, and also I wouldn't be shocked if like some bands were like, we're gonna play our full album, we're gonna cut into your time. I'm so sorry. Like we're pissed, and they would be like, yeah, of course, go ahead.
Yeah,
maybe
fuck it.
their
We'll have
set still
everybody
works.
run late, and
Exactly.
then we'll be here until 4 a.m. Like whatever.
Right. Okay. So this is kind of my point to all of this. This is a festival that, one, does not care about its musicians, only about making money. They can get away with it, so they'll do it, and it does not care about its fans. As I said, people have paid, I believe the ticket was $250 for a day, but it could have been more, but I believe it was $250 for like a general admission ticket, where they have to run from stage to stage hypothetically, and they don't get to see the album they paid for in some cases or in really any cases. And the next point I have is they have horrible merch. So, when we went to Cal Jam, the one-day fest, there was plenty of just specifically Cal, much specifically Cal Jam.
I mean, arguably too much, because
Yeah.
you and I both wanted to like buy all the things we saw.
Yeah, exactly right.
Like they had like 6-7 different posters.
And like so many shirts and like
a couple hundred shirts.
So of course a festival like When We Were Young is going to have like specific When We Were Young merch, right? Come to the day of the festival, they have their merch, and people see that they have misspelled so many band names on their printed merch.
So embarrassing.
The All American Rejects were the All American Rejects. I'll put them up on the screen in a second. New and Glory instead of Newfound Glory. We are in the crowd instead of We Are the in crowd. Sleeping with Syrians instead of Sleeping with Sirens. Move of Mints instead of Movements. Aimer for Sleep instead of Armor for Sleep. This one's less of a problem. LS Dunes has periods in between the LS. They just didn't print the periods. That's less of a problem for me. Daisy Grenade instead of Daisy Grenade.
Oh my
So
god.
I'll put these up on the screen so you can see these as well, because they are truly like I can't believe it. Oh, Amberlin too. That it's just crazy. How does this happen? Daisy Grenade. These are some of the other ones they're pointed to here. Like
This has to be intentional, right?
It's like
No way.
No, like it has to be intentional on the fact of like the designers working on this heard something's
yeah.
fuck this company, because this is a festival owned by Live Nation. I checked.
Okay, gotcha.
It's put on and owned fully by Live Nation.
That makes
Owns
sense.
Ticketmaster, so I was
Right.
opposite correct.
Yes.
I can imagine this was like a malicious compliance thing.
Totally.
If I were an employee and
Yeah.
I heard they were doing this and they were fucking around with stuff and they were doing the merch last minute, I'd be like, yeah, fuck you. Like, we'll make this worse.
Well,
Or it's AI.
and here's my kind of thing with it is that you could give some grace and say that like everyone makes mistakes and it's not that big of
You
a
don't make
deal.
9 spelling mistakes on the same merch.
And it's already listed in some file somewhere in your whole master list of how to spell all the band names.
And bands are probably sending in their logos for some of this stuff.
They 100%.
And as someone who's designed some posters with a lot of names on them before, you don't just type those into Photoshop or whatever you're using. And
Yeah.
like, hope you got it right or spell check's got it right. You should copy and paste those from a list that you know is
Exactly.
approved by like everybody's agents or managers or whatever.
Yep.
Which has to happen.
Yeah.
At a level like of this kind of festival.
You would think. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we had agents at the House Fest stuff, but like
Well, but like
I knew the names were right,
and I think
and I would ask.
I think
if
we
they
had
weren't.
issues where there were times, I don't know if it was for the festivals, but for something where we had a misspelled name.
Oh, we
and
definitely did.
They told
Yeah.
us and we fixed it.
Yeah.
This isn't a big fucking deal. Like, it's like, there's not that hard,
This
I should
should
say.
have been seen by like 30 people who know that those names are misspelled.
Yeah.
Obviously, it went through the ranks at Live Nation, and it was a bunch of people who were like, I don't know what Amberlin is, whatever.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Like, that's
Aimer
cool.
for Sleep, 100%.
Yeah,
These fucking
these
emo
musicians
kids.
have weird names.
Yeah, I think one of the things too is that like it totally could be someone who's like, well, fuck this company, fuck the way this
I
works.
really hope that's what it is.
But this was to think about how this worked. All American Rejects dropped out a week out from Showtime. Coheed, they apparently got the news 2 weeks before, so the bands were getting told 2 weeks out that they have to change their set. I don't know when they get this merch all done. It could be that close to time. It could be way more in advance. I would hope that if it's like close to time and that's why it happened, is that somebody said, fuck it, I'm changing it. If it was way more in advance printed, then I don't know.
It's funny and bad either way.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that the first year that they did this in Vegas, there were so many bands and artists that were like, "Hey, we didn't even say we were going to play this
Yeah.
yet. Like we didn't
Right.
confirm.
We didn't
this.
confirm. Right.
They've just confirmed us, but we didn't
Yeah.
sign
Yeah.
the deal. So they don't have the best history of being super prepared.
Well, I mean,
No.
everybody famously knows Live Nation is not a good company.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
So here's my final point of contention, and before I say that, how much do you think those shirts cost? I didn't confirm this, but if you had to guess, how much do you think those shirts cost at a festival like that?
To purchase?
Yeah,
$40.
I was gonna say at this festival,
Yeah.
50 or 60.
I was so my guess is 50 or 60 as
50,
well.
yeah.
So imagine you have your favorite band is Newfound Glory, and you have traveled across the country. You live somewhere else. You don't live in Vegas. You've traveled to Vegas to see Newfound Glory. You want to buy the merch, and all of it says New and Glory, and then they can't even
Newfoundland Glory.
Newfoundland. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
there we go. I mean, that's a better name anyway.
And now so they can't
I
even.
mean, there are some people who definitely bought this like knowing it was misspelled
Yeah.
for the bit of it.
Yeah, well-
which is unfortunate because they gave all their money to an evil company. But
Yeah. So my final point of contention is this. I've watched a lot of footage. I've watched a lot of TikToks. I've watched a lot of whatever, have you. $64. Is that true, Ian? It's $64, or is that just your guess?
Yeah, are you just guessing?
I like the guess. I think it's pretty spot on. So I watched a lot of footage. There was a lot of bands here that I would have really loved to see, and in fact, I thought about going to this festival because a lot of bands that I love were playing albums that I love. So one of
supposedly,
right? Yeah. One of my favorite bands that was playing this was a band called Chiodos. This is something that I really am passionate about. I love the album they played, All's Well That Ends Well, and every clip that I saw on TikTok, they sounded incredible. So I thought to myself, this was I guess it's kind of important to mention, this was their first studio album. They do have a remastered version of this album, but the production was meh. But they've the important part of that, I guess, also is that I'm fairly certain this album was not recorded to a click. Okay, so I go and decide to watch like a full YouTube, like a full video from one of their songs on YouTube. And I'm just like, damn, they really do just sound incredible. I've learned that the only original member left is Craig Owens. It's Craig Owens and 4 random guys, which is fine. They still sound great. And they're playing a song that has tempo changes, and the click is fucking with them. So they're having to like face him and play because I noticed there's backup vocals and there's no backup singer. So that is a track.
Yeah.
So they have to play to the track that has a click that changes. So the singer is on top of it, and then the rest of the drummer's trying to catch up, and the band's playing to the drummer. It turns into a absolute disaster.
Oh no.
But they still through all of this sound great.
Yeah.
Ian, his voice is super high and his voice is great. You're 100% right about that. And if you go watch one of those videos that I'm referencing, you're going to notice exactly what I did, which is that I went and watched another one, and his mouth was open longer than a note was. Cool. So it leads me to, because I was thinking to myself, God, he sounds so fucking good. He sounds so fucking good because he's lip syncing.
Oh, this is
whole fucking time.
This is not a good indicator of if I have the right idea of who the band is, but does the lead singer have somewhat of a similar haircut to yours and neck tattoos?
I don't think he has a haircut, but he's tatted up, so I wouldn't be shocked if he has neck tattoos.
Because I remember seeing a clip of somebody singing super high, and I was like, "How the hell are they doing that?"
He does, and I've seen him live years ago.
His voice is really high.
His voice is super high. He's incredible. But I'm watching this, and I'm like, "What? No." Is he really? And then I click a comment, and it's like, this is pathetic. It's Craig and 4 randoms while Craig's not even singing. And it's like, okay, I have gone into great detail on this show about how I feel about lip syncing, and in general, it's not a big deal. Like I can let it go. In a scene like this, in a situation like this, that's not what you fucking do. That's
I agree. I couldn't
not
agree
what
more.
you do.
Well, especially in a live context of like, I've realized there are scenarios where people would do this in a live show, but usually that's for like TV, like productions, like giant things that are events.
Or
and
it's
like,
a really big show
it's
where you're on
impractical
tour.
to do it. Right.
So
Stuff
many,
like that.
so many reasons where I could see you get away with it. But this scene, not in this scene. Not in the emo scene.
Not at this festival either.
And not where people have spent all the money, like I said, to have traveled as far as they did.
Yeah, because
to see
reminder,
it.
nobody actually lives in Vegas. They just go visit.
Yeah, exactly.
I think a lot of people who go travel. I don't think.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
For these festivals that
Yeah.
are being hosted in Vegas, they're absolutely like probably 95% of the people
Right.
are not from there,
So they.
which is fine. There's nothing wrong
No,
with
of
that.
course.
That's-
Sure.
That's the perfect place for it. It's America's, downtown or whatever you want to call it.
So you've traveled to see one of your favorite bands, Chiodos, play an album that you love. You've paid too much money to get in. Who knows if they I know that they played songs that weren't on the record, so they didn't play the record from front to back.
Their name is misspelled on the merch.
Well, maybe their name wasn't, but it could have been. And then you get there and he fucking lip syncs. You're like, this has been. And so my two examples for this on the side of like, you don't do this in this scene are Claudio from Coheed and Cambria. Claudio has an incredibly high voice and he has workarounds. He has figured out how to make things work at this point in his career where he still is able to hit some high notes, back off from some high notes. He knows how to do it. And my other big example is Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
Patrick Stump, like I watched a lot of Fall Out Boy footage and he had some rough times, some rough notes, but he never he never backed off. He sat in it and did it like a professional. Like
there's nothing wrong with if you mess it up because you are doing it live. It's the audience is going to be cool with that.
That's what we
want. Unless you just completely like bomb the entire thing. Like,
Yeah, exactly. So this is kind of like these are my major points. Imagine you've paid for the ticket, you've bought the typo-riddled merch, you find out your favorite band isn't actually going to play the album that you went there to see, and then they fucking lip-sync their whole set. It's not great. That last point isn't necessarily against the festival or the organizers, but as a whole, I would feel incredibly cheated if I was at that festival. I would feel like I was taken advantage of at every single level, and that no one actually cared about me. No one actually cares about the bands. And I thought to myself, maybe Chiodos decided to lip sync to say, fuck you guys. We're just going to but I don't think they would do that to the fans on purpose.
No, that's a weird fuck you. And like you just said, it's pointed at the fans.
Yeah. Right, exactly. The festival, again, like I said at the beginning, if you went and you had a great time, awesome. The festival should be held accountable for not caring about any side of this. This is a horrible disappointment for, a scene like this one that is like so near and dear to so many people's hearts. I have like two little like side quests about this, and one of them being is about Warped Tour. And Warped Tour officially announced that yes, they are going to do 3 dates in 2025. And the price is cheaper than when we were young. It's a $150 2-day pass, which is way cheaper because it's 2 days of music and $150 instead of over $200. They didn't announce their lineup yet, and they were tweeting at Ronnie Radke about some stuff. So people were instantly like, "Fuck you, Warped Tour! Your lineup isn't announced yet. You're talking to this guy Ronnie Radke on Twitter, like saying he's the king of emo music or whatever. So When We Were Young is a success, and you are a failure." And I'm like, whoa, yeah. We really jumped the gun on this one. I get being upset about the lineup thing, but they made it very clear they're not announcing the whole lineup like at once. They're going to do small announcements because they want to highlight the smaller bands that are on the bill, which I think is great.
That's very, very wholesome.
It's part of the scene. It's
different because it's not being put on by a giant international megacorp.
That too, right.
Because isn't it? I mean, that's still like an independent.
It's the same guy.
Festival,
Man,
which is crazy.
They are so teed up to just fucking nail it
and crush when we were young. Crush them. And then my other side quest is really random, but I do want to mention that this is a nostalgia fest, right? So Fall Out Boy, they never announced they were going to play a full album. They played like a career-spanning set, basically. And that was pretty cool. Yeah. Although some of the new stuff, I don't really get why you'd play it at a Nostalgia Fest, but fine, okay? Now, for their encores both nights, they did like a special, like a cover. Now, what do you think that they would cover at such an event like this? If you had to guess, like what kind of song, or if you have a song in mind, what do you think Fall Out Boy would cover on a Nostalgia Fest?
The Skillet song from the other week.
Oh my God.
God, I wish.
That's the best guess. I mean,
God, I wish.
Yeah. But my only guess would be they redo the "We Didn't Start the Fire."
And I think they played it.
Oh yeah.
I think they played it.
They did do that.
So they night one, they covered "See You Again" by Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth. You know that song?
No.
It's been a long
day. Oh my God.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
That's a weird. I can hear Patrick Stump's voice nailing that.
Yeah.
But
that's
a weird choice.
It's not a nostalgia song.
No.
And then Wiz Khalifa came out. Wiz Khalifa was there. And the emo kids were like, yay! And I'm like, what does this have to do with fucking anything?
Oh my God.
And I wasn't there. Maybe it was awesome. Maybe it was so cool. But I remember when Foo Fighters brought out one of the Gallagher brothers for that bit, and I was like, who gives a fuck?
I think most of the audience was like, fuck you. Who cares? This is the jackass that came in on the helicopter just now.
Yeah, man, that was that yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so
there were definitely people in the audience, like near where I was at that point, who were like not booing, but close to it, and they're like, "Bring back Josh! Bring back Josh!"
Sorry, I was just looking up to see if Wiz Khalifa happened to be from Vegas, but he's not. He's
Maybe
from
he was-
North Dakota.
maybe he loves the
Maybe
scene.
he loves the scene. That'd be cool.
I don't know,
But
it's weird. Didn't make any sense to me because one, they covered his song. He's there. It has nothing to do with emo music, nostalgia, anything. And whatever. Night 2 made a little more sense. They covered Cupid's Chokehold by Gym Class Heroes, and Travie McCoy came out and performed that with them. Gym Class Heroes is at least a little bit more adjacent to that scene.
Sure.
I think they probably played Warped Tour, so I could give them a little bit of a pass there. But why the fuck is Wiz Khalifa at an emo pop punk nostalgia fest, and why is every video like, this is so cool, I love this?
they're paid by Ticketmaster.
Yeah. So I have been just seething with anger about this whole festival because I feel like it's like such an abuse of musicians, of fans, of everybody all around. And I think you're right, Dave. I think that Warped Tour is teed up to just shit on
They're
when we
gonna
were
fail
young.
it.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't drop the ball. I can't see them taking that time off. And
I think now they definitely won't.
No.
yeah,
Like, they'll see how this went.
I hope
Even
they-
if, like, for the most part, if people were just fine with this, like, abuse by corporations, then I guess whatever, like,
Yeah.
we're doomed. But Warped Tour, I can imagine seeing this and being like, well, we're not going to do that because, like, that's bad for the people that actually care, and that's their audience.
Right. Well,
I hope they're already not like they're way before
Yeah,
this
yeah,
year's
right.
festival for when
Right.
Young Festival happened.
well, and then the whole thing too is like with this company and all like what they do for these festivals. One of the other ones they have is Sick New World, and that's supposed to be like a new metal, like primarily new metal, like fest. And the last 2 years had System of a Down in like both years, which is hilarious. But this year Metallica is a headliner, and I'm like,
Sure.
for what fucking in what universe?
They're
In
still
what
touring
world?
They
So
returned
much.
the call, so
And, yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
and the check cleared, so Metallica's like, all right, like,
yeah, it's so bizarre to me. Ian says the bass player is also in the Damned Things. It's the bass player and the drummer. They're both in the Damned Things, which is a great like super group with a singer for Every Time I Die and the
Yeah.
guitar player from Anthrax. But yeah, I mean, I think that you're right. They ran into Wiz, and they definitely know a lot of people. Like
Yeah.
Patrick Stump was side stage at so many people's performances. I think he went on stage for I think it was Cobra Starship. I think he went on and performed
God,
with.
I can't believe they did a set.
Like he was like everywhere, and like so clearly they know a lot of people. They're super good friends. Daisy Grenade or Daisy Grenade, they were like the opener of the whole festival. I think they were one of the first, if not like the first performer of the day. And they filmed a TikTok with Patrick. They were in his trailer like talking, and then Patrick walked in and he was like, "Oh hey, what are you guys doing in here? Like get out!" And like he's friends with all these people. He seems
He's like
a
the
great
sweetheart
guy.
of the festival.
Exactly, yeah. So anyway, that's when we were young, 2024. I don't want to have updates about it unless they're bad. That's it.
I mean, I look forward to hearing about 2025.
Yeah, right. And again, I really want to reiterate, if you went and you had a great time, that's awesome. And I have no desire to ruin that for you. I think that's a great thing. Some of the footage was awesome. I really liked watching a lot of what I saw, but it should have been done better. These bands who were advertising and told to play albums front to back, who have prepared for it, should have been able to do so. Fans should be able to enjoy it and bought merch that was correctly spelled, especially if you're going to pay that ticket price.
How fucking awesome would it be if Warped Tour was like, and the headliner is going to be All American Rejects playing in the nighttime, doing what When We Were Young Fest wouldn't let them do.
I think it would be really cool if they printed one shirt for merch that was every band name misspelled. I think
That's gotta be a thing,
I
right?
think that would be
Yeah,
awesome.
those are things that they
That's
going to
be
do.
a thing now, actually. Like,
Yeah.
bands are going to have misspelled merch
Yeah,
for this.
I hope so. So we're gonna move on to my next.
I
go ahead,
really
yeah.
hope that people don't go to another one. Like,
Oh yeah. Well, people are gonna go.
Live Nation has already like shown they don't care. They had people who were killed at the one in Houston.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I hate to say like stop going and having fun at these things that you want to go to,
But stop.
Like, but maybe stop.
This is the
'cause,
way
like,
it will change.
It's not going to get better. You're probably going to get ripped off.
Yeah.
Certainly, you're going to get ripped off. Actually, you're probably going to get more ripped off when you show up, and then there's like the posters are upside down or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So
Who knows?
I'm gonna move on to my next piece here, and this is probably This has been some of the most enraged I've been on the internet in quite some time. My TikTok algo is filled of what I'm about to go over and the election, and I'm like, I can't take all of this. So I have titled this section, The Confusing and Random Hate of One of the Most Positive and Fun Bands of the 2020s. I start all of this, before I say the band, I start all of this by, and you might already know this already, but I start by saying that the band we're about to discuss, I am a pretty big fan of. There is a chance that I am just being biased and that it's hard for me to be perhaps a little objective on the situation. So I do want to give that as a preamble for the whole thing. But we are going to talk about the band Lawrence. Okay? Adam, you're not on TikTok.
No.
Do you know?
He has no idea.
I have no idea what's going on.
Were you really confused when I sent that text about what I was going to talk about?
Yes.
Yeah.
So wait, people are mad at them?
Oh, dude.
Fuck this. I'm already out.
Just wait.
Okay, so I have a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. We're gonna listen to some things, we're gonna watch some things, but I kind of want to set the stage and I want to go over a few things and really discuss how I feel about it. So let's talk about Lawrence. For those who don't know, Lawrence is a pop soul, a pop funk band formed and fronted by the siblings Clyde and Gracie Lawrence. I will go back to their childhood and upbringing later on. For everyone who knows what that is, great. But I'll come back to it, okay? It'll be important to bring it up later. We're going to listen to the first song on all of their studio records, okay? Because I want to set the stage for where we're going, okay? Let's first listen to their 2016 album, Breakfast. And this says 2017. The other stuff told me 2016.
Spotify's not right.
Sure, exactly. So this is their first song off of their first studio record, Breakfast. Let's listen to this, just a little bit. We're going to let it play a little bit. I want everyone to get a gist of kind of what we're going to get into. We're all looking for someone, that perfect girl. I think that's a pretty good amount to listen to right there. I'm going to ask some questions as we go through this process. My first question is, what genre or style does this make you think of? Let's start off right there. What genre or style does this make you think of?
Pop. Instrumental pop.
Okay. Adam?
Sorry, let me clarify that. What I mean is pop music played with real instruments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ian says fusion. I dig it. Okay.
I would say some kind of fusion something because they are a blend.
Yeah.
I think of them as a blender of genres.
100%.
Heather might have nailed it.
Pop funk.
Pop funk, yeah, I can see that.
Their official genre, based on Wikipedia and what I've seen, is pop soul. So
soul was definitely a big influence at the very least.
Yeah. So okay, great. I'm really okay.
Nice, uplifting,
very good start.
Mostly for the most part, happy music.
Yeah, exactly. Now let's listen to the first song off their second album from 2018. The album's called Living Room, and let's ask the same question as we listen to this song, and then I'll have a follow-up question to that as well. It's important to get the vocals and all this stuff. Want to listen a little more. When you grow up, you get way down. I love this piano.
I need to go listen to all their albums again. I've never dealt with this before, and I've never felt so insane.
All right, that'll do for now. So I asked the same question: what genre or style does this make you think of?
It's pop gospel, like Heather said in the chat. I can't agree more with that.
Okay, great.
It's absolutely gospel piano.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely.
Like Baroque pop kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's different.
Feels reminiscent of that.
I get that.
Baroque pop gospel fusion.
Yeah.
But again, I think of them as just like a blender of genres.
Great.
Yeah.
In the very best ways.
And I now ask another question. Does it feel that different to the first song we listened to?
Not necessarily, no.
Does it feel like the same band? Does it feel like it's the same vibe, same production? Different song, obviously, but like...
It's hard to say because I know them.
Sure.
But across albums, their vibe is generally the same.
To be as objective as you can, you've heard 2 songs that are from 2 different albums. They are obviously different, but are they that different from one another?
No.
Do they
really.
bring? Do they have the same whimsical attitudes? Do they have the same general like feeling and fusing of genres style?
Yeah, they're definitely related, and it's very obvious.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you played those 2 songs to people who have no idea who they are, they would think they're the same band.
Yeah.
Now let's now listen to the first song off of their 2021 record, Hotel TV, and I want you to ask the same questions.
Are you kidding me? I'm getting sick of the industry. I've had enough of the make-believe. Oh please, am I lost or found?
We're gonna let this one build into the big part.
Ups and downs. No need to give me the runaround. I'm out.
This shit's gonna kill me, but I won't let it. And I try to give them hell, but they don't get it. So I tell myself when I sleep at night, don't lose sight, baby, don't.
Gnarly vocals. So I asked the same questions. What genre? Does it feel that different from their last from the other stuff? What do we think?
They could all be on the same record.
Okay. Yeah, Adam, what do you think?
It maybe more electronic kind of funk,
Okay, yeah.
something like that.
I think that's going to lead to something later that we'll bring up.
Sure.
That word. It's not exactly that, but the final question I have here is, what if anything? Oh my God!
Pop Randy Newman / Meghan Trainor.
Wild.
Stop talking, Heather.
No, it's fine. That's totally fine. And
Just
and
joking.
all of these things, I kind of like as I was working on this, I had a thought of like it'd be nice if the boys had discourse with me on this, but I feel like we'll all agree.
Yeah, we're all gonna agree with you.
But you know,
I mean,
that's why
we
I'm
do
asking.
all like the band.
That's why I'm asking for everyone's thoughts on this as well. If you're listening right now and you have thoughts on this, I would love for you to email us. Whatever, we'll get to that later. But email us, DM us, all that kind of shit.
Wait, I should clarify. I don't listen to Lawrence.
Oh, but you know them.
I know them,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
And I like watching the tour documentary when they were dealing with COVID and all that stuff. I thought that was really good.
The docuseries is back. They're doing more.
Good. I'll watch it too.
Yeah,
But
it's a music documentary. He'll have to watch it.
yeah, I have never, unless I've been in your car
Yeah.
or at your house.
Yeah.
I've never put an album of theirs on.
I still think you'll agree.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so now between all 3 releases, what if anything has changed between the songs? Is there any? You said it could all be on the same record.
Yeah, but I know I can. Yeah,
Okay.
They discovered more instruments.
and production.
Okay, production. I think
Because they're growing.
right. I think the first one still sounds really produced for a first record.
Oh yeah, I think both the first 2 albums sound like an established band that's
Yeah.
been doing a lot of stuff.
Now I
I
know.
guess they were, but I don't know their history enough
Yes.
to know if that's true. But
Now, Dave, you had mentioned, because you know where I'm going with this, what
Yes.
it's off of. Save it. Don't mention it yet.
I won't.
We're gonna listen to the first song, because the song off. We're gonna listen to the first song off of their most recent album of this year. Their album is called Family Business, and this song is the song in question that's been getting ripped to shreds.
Eyes on me. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need. Tell me what you need. BuzzFeed's top 10 ways that you hate me. Don't ever call a girl crazy.
At this point, all the TikTok clips have already turned the song off and have started talking. Now, before I dive,
culture.
yeah, yeah. Again, how do we feel about those questions? Do you feel like it fits in the
It's
same?
even more gospel feeling
yeah,
to me.
Sure, yeah,
And this
Yeah.
newest album in general just feels more like that, which I enjoyed.
yeah.
I like this album.
And the produced thing. Right?
It's not more produced than the last record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it heavily in a negative way, but it's heavily produced.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Like in a precision way.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
Go ahead.
We're gonna get to why it's likely
We are.
more produced. So
Yeah, we are.
I'm getting frustrated now.
So I have like a bit of a thesis statement. It's kind of long, but I have a bit of a statement that's kind of my whole premise to this. Many facets play into the idea of popular music. Image and marketing are one of the largest. A band in today's climate must be good at promoting themselves through quick videos that entice the viewer enough to keep watching and then eventually go listen. Bands almost must fight against the echo chamber that is the internet, and that is TikTok. A band like Lawrence has spent years going through the algorithm and has seen wondrous success through years of pushing and getting bigger. But fundamentally, the music and the image has never changed. It has been focused on retro or vintage imagery, it has been focused on the brother-sister dynamic, and it has been, in a word, silly. And the music has always reflected that same thing. In my angry internet rant, I will prove that the anger/hate people have towards Lawrence is simply the popular choice in the echo chamber that is primarily TikTok, and that Lawrence has been and always will be a fun and, if not at times, corny band. So let's watch one of these hate TikToks. Now, I did not.
Wait,
go ahead.
hold on. Since I'm somebody who's never even downloaded TikTok, did Lawrence become big because of TikTok?
Oh,
and social
they
media in
blew
general?
up on TikTok.
Okay.
They've had multiple songs that have done really well on TikTok.
Okay.
And now
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by that.
they've also hustled really hard. And again,
that part's clear because
Yeah.
they've been very successful, especially this past year.
And for anybody who's listening or watching who's fucking holding back or is in their car yelling, they're Nepo babies, I'll fucking get to you. Don't worry. I will get to your ass. But for everyone else, I will get. So we're going to watch one of these hate TikToks. I battled with if we were going to watch one of these, but I found Anthony Fantano's of this, and I'm happy to punch up at Baldy. I do not give a fuck. I didn't want to punch at other TikTok creators because everyone's just, I guess, quote unquote, sharing their opinion. But this fucker is giving an opinion that is the copy paste of the rest of the fucking internet.
Well, and people listen to him.
Yes.
Yes, he has a huge audience.
And again, we would be punching up by listening to him. So here is Anthony Fantano and his reaction to What You Want. Why does he make a stink face and then at her high note as if it's bad?
Has he not listened to music?
just wait.
Oh, God, Lord. You just know when they were done cutting this, they were slapping hands. They were dapping each other up. They were going crazy. They were like, yeah, this is the one. We did it, guys. We did it. God, this is such a gross bastardization of great soul, funk, R&B. This is what happens when your frame of reference for those genres is Mark Ronson and just Mark Ronson. Then on top of it, you're a theater kid. More and more and more and more of our exposure to these styles of music is being defined less by the artists who forge these paths and more by advertisements. So now stuff that we're producing organically just sounds like commercial garbage. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So that's his take.
I can kind of see his take only in that they are producing content because that's the game and that's how this is played.
Yeah.
There is something kind of gross about that to me. I don't care because I like them. It's great. But
yeah.
The TikTok, the video part of it especially is they're of course they're making content. How do you think this business works?
Right.
Guy.
So
guy.
just
for awareness, I don't watch him and I don't really know who he is. I know his name and you guys have mentioned him and I know he's an internet jackass. So
I think that for the most part,
and there's nothing wrong with being a professional internet jackass either. That is a whole industry.
I've grown to kind of dig on him a little bit. I think that he has good takes. I think that he puts a lot of work into stuff.
Yeah, I think there's a good take in there. He didn't get to it. But
I think that he scratched the surface on potentially what one of the takes is that I agree with from a lot of people on TikTok. But I think that more than anything, I think that this video proves that he maybe agrees with this opinion, but feels like he definitely has to be a part of the echo chamber, and he's going to say the copy-paste opinion because he wasn't the fucking first one. There's no way that he was the first one to say this. So
no, but he needs to do it for the content.
Right. Just to fuel the fire a little bit more, one of the comments on his TikTok was, because his issue isn't with the vocalist, that's why. He takes issue with the bland arrangement and lack of creativity in the songwriting and style. Bland arrangement, lack of creativity and songwriting and the style? What the fuck is wrong with you, dumbass? That's a psychotic take. What's are we listening to the same song?
There's no good music anymore.
Dude, it's crazy.
Well, all good music was made by like 1955.
Here's the problem: is that Lawrence are approaching the front of pop culture in terms of music, and they're staking their place in the scene. So because they're getting close to there, everyone's judging them as if they're still trying to be a band that's like rooted in soul and everything like that.
Right.
But they have to make stuff that's accessible.
They've also always made pop music.
Yeah, exactly. They've always made it. So now that they're getting there,
yeah, they're just more successful now.
But also none of their music is bland, lack of creativity or anything. That's a crazy idea.
But
I think that it comes from, and I don't know this TikTok user obviously, but I think one of the things I see a lot is you see a lot of these TikTok users who are like, I know music. Fuck off. Like, I'm sorry. I'm going to be the guy that went to music school and is a professional musician. You don't know. You're saying words that you've heard before, but they're not correct in this analysis.
And it doesn't matter what Lawrence makes. What matters is that they are, like I keep trying to say, they're getting close to that front line. And so people expect, if they're going to be the front runners for funk and the front runners for soul and R&B, that they have to have their roots firmly in what already made up that genre.
Right.
But they're progressing it into the future with modern shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's happening in every fucking genre. I don't know why everyone's being so hard on them for it.
I have a couple of thoughts as to
Sure,
why.
yeah,
but let's break down, without going through every TikTok that's ever been posted on the subject, let's summarize what people are saying about the song. Obviously that TikTok helps, but I have 6 points people are saying about the song. 1, it sounds disingenuous / overly produced. 2, it sounds like a Target Old Navy commercial. 3, it sounds like band kids grew up and made music, giving theater kid energy / one TikTok I saw, a couple that are similar to this, that they're calling the Berkeley sound. 4, it is white people making music that is largely made and popularized by black artists. 5, it's not soul music because it's so produced and corny. And 6, they are Nepo babies and Nepo baby bad. So let's address each one of these. So number 1, sounds disingenuous, is overly produced. I can confidently say that I can comfortably and confidently say that I agree with this analysis on some level.
That it's overly produced.
That it is very produced, not overly produced.
Yeah, very produced.
But I have known people who have listened to Lawrence and said, "Well, it doesn't sound like this is the live thing. It sounds like this is fake." And I'm like, "I promise you, that's what they do live. I've seen them live. It was incredible. Like, this is what they do."
It sounds too good to be true.
Yeah, sure, exactly. And so I can kind of get behind this analysis, if not for the fact that it's kind of riddled in this other part of it, right?
It's like that weird thing about people want like records to sound like gritty and real and whatever.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's cool. That works.
Like me.
That works for a lot of genres of music, but it doesn't always have to be the only
artists,
path.
Gritty and real.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't necessarily think it's gritty and real.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the disingenuous part of it though?
Sure.
Because like, from what I've seen from this band, they're busting their asses off.
Yeah. How do you judge somebody else's like effort? Like that?
And there's no, if they wanted to, with the skill level they have in that band, in terms of songwriting and musicianship, if they wanted to phone it in and write disingenuous stuff, we wouldn't be talking about them.
Exactly.
They're playing their fucking asses off.
Yeah.
And they're trying their best.
And they're working their asses off
Yeah.
too. So that's point 1. I think that it's largely a really horrible analysis. It's fair in the sense that they have, as you said earlier, Dave, as they've gone further, they have produced more and more production sound and like clarity
and you would too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
turns out
proverbial you.
when you have more money to produce the album you want to produce, you will get closer to the album you wanted to produce.
And the quote unquote, they aren't doing this live. We will get to that. That's my twist. Is that again? I've seen them, but what does that fucking matter? Point 2. It sounds like a Target, Old Navy, whatever commercial. Okay.
I mean, sure, I guess.
Okay.
Target
It
has
does.
popular
It
music,
does.
and so like I can believe it does, but also who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Also, Target has good music compared to most stores.
It sounds like a commercial. It sounds commercial. It sounds like it belongs in a commercial. My question to everyone who thinks that and thinks that's a bad thing is, what the fuck do you listen to? If you listen to, and I wasn't going to bring this example up, my first thought was like, if you listen to any of the modern pop music, Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift, whatever, you cannot comment on this being a negative thing. And then I thought to myself, who's big right now? Chappell Roan. Well, probably not a good example. Chappell Roan's song was in a Target commercial. I'm sorry, like that, but doesn't make it bad. I'm not saying, I'm not on the side that that's a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing.
It doesn't. But if you're saying that's a bad thing, then you're totally out of touch with how. Unless all you listen to is 12 hours of that Smile song that's a panic attack. if that's what you listen to, then cool, whatever. That's all good.
Hot take: the people making these takes on TikTok don't listen to music.
I think that they don't understand how it works.
Let me rephrase. They haven't changed what they listen to since middle school.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly.
They're listening to the same 5 albums that they had.
But if you listen to
and so you're a sellout because
exactly
you want music to be in a commercial for the man.
If you're writing soul, R&B, funk music, and
trying to, okay, they're not accomplishing
exactly.
it.
Yeah, if you're trying to write that shit and it's commercial, well then that's bad. Or commercial music is bad. Sorry, stop listening to all your music then, because a lot of it's commercial, and there's nothing wrong with that. Bands are trying to get their music heard. And Lawrence has always written pop music and commercial music. I don't think this is, in fact, this song, I don't believe has been in an ad, but I believe, I could be wrong, I should have checked this, but I believe one of the songs I played earlier has been in an ad. So
sellouts.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Again, you would too.
Yeah,
well,
you would
not
too.
just that, but it's like, it feels like the stereotype of people who are like, I would say early high school, who were like, yeah, well, I don't listen to the radio because, like, I don't listen to popular stuff. I listen to the stuff nobody would have heard of. And you're like,
yeah,
cool, dude.
Fuck
like,
off. Yeah.
Good, great.
Or the people that are like, yeah, you don't do music for money.
And then Ian perfectly said, if you don't respect the hustle, you're just lazy.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, you're supposed to suffer in your garage, I think is another thing Ian said earlier.
Yeah.
In the basement.
You're supposed to play in a garage where nobody hears your music.
Yes.
That's how it was intended.
Point number 3, it sounds like band kids grew up and made music. It's giving theater kid energy / the Berkeley sound. First of all, I know band and theater kids. They are like, no. They're a little silly, but I don't. These aren't like theater kids. They are energetic musical people that are goofy, but they are not dramatic. Right? If they were dramatic, they would be addressing this. They haven't addressed any of this. They would be making this drama if they were theater kids. Band kids, let me approach this one from a question.
It's too interesting.
Well,
As
sure.
a former band kid.
But if they were band kids, they're not, by the way. But if they were band kids, wouldn't you want band kids to keep playing music?
I'm a band kid.
Isn't that what they were supposed to do?
What do you want them to fucking do? Like,
yeah, I'm a band kid, and if Moniker, our band, a band that Hagen and I are in, if Moniker ever gets approached by Target, it's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I'll write a song
Exactly.
that sounds like a Target commercial.
Would
If
you like
it'll
us
get me that
would
kind
you
of
like us
money.
to write a
Yeah.
song that sounds nothing like us but is what you want?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Give me money and I'll do it.
I'll like concede to the fact that the horn section does little dances and that
That's showmanship.
But you could argue potentially that that's band kid or theater kid energy.
no.
But I'll concede to that point. But that doesn't.
I won't. Not could be, because 90% of, if we're talking about being genuine, 90% of acts that Fantano might be referencing from the 50s and 60s, maybe even later.
Yeah.
All of the background singers and all of the horn players did
That's true.
choreographed thing.
That's a good point.
That's a whole
That is a
That's a good
huge
point.
part of the genre.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
But
And then
it was back in the day, so it was genuine, you know?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And then there's a couple TikToks I've seen referencing what people are calling the Berkeley sound. The initial analysis of the Berkeley sound is just like music nerds who went to music school who then wrote music and then they know how to make a commercial and blah 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 blah. There's this one TikTok I found where this woman talks about how basically the Berkeley sound is like the high ups at Berkeley would pick somebody to then be like the face and to like they could mold into a commercial popular musician, and it would largely be white people, and that does lead me to point number 4, which is it's white people making music that is largely made and popularized by black artists. They are not soul musicians. It's as Fantano said, like not paying homage, not paying respects to where the music comes from, which I think is the closest thing to a true take / criticism of the music, but in no way have Clyde and Gracie not shown that they are huge fans of the music, that like they are influenced, they have talked about the music that like inspires them.
Well, it's what they grew up listening to. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that, because I do understand the idea that, especially nowadays and for the last 30 years, white people have been dominating genres of music that have been made popular by black people.
Yeah.
It's still a thing that we're like trying to change and open up space for, but that doesn't negate the open space for white people to continue doing that in terms of playing that music.
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a hard topic to talk about.
It is, but it also is like it doesn't make what their music is necessarily like just inherently bad.
Yeah.
I think that
it doesn't
you could
invalidate it.
I think you could find many arguments to say like, yeah, it's a band of white people and it's fucked up. I could get behind aspects of this argument, but in general, it's just kind of like it's an easy point to make about why you don't like this music instead of just saying you don't like it, right?
The Mark Ronson comparison is such a shallow take.
It's so shallow. I think the other thing is the thing that pissed me off a lot about this analysis in particular was that it's mostly white guys on TikTok that are saying this point. And as we all know, white guys are the biggest and most annoying music snobs, hence this podcast.
Yes.
Like it's and hence Fantano. Like it's just we're talking about like, you know, a group of people that are not the ones to make this. And I'm not saying it's all white guys that are doing this. There's plenty of other people who have made this and like analysis and who have given them criticisms on TikTok that aren't white guys. But I've seen a lot of fucking white guys do it.
Yeah, I think that the take should be a discourse about how to give these artists the platform to explain where they come from.
Yeah.
With their influences, and to give people who have criticisms of artists like this, they should instead be encouraging those artists, like in ways that they can look these things up and learn from that history.
Right.
Rather than just writing them off and shitting on them.
Right.
You have a group of talented musicians and you're going, nope, next. You're
Yeah.
not doing it right.
Exactly. Which is the next thing. Point 5, it's not soul music because it's so overproduced, because it's so corny, because of the previous point, it's all white people. And I'm going to say I only wrote one sentence here. It's pop music.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's okay. It's not fine.
Yeah,
call
cool.
it pop soul.
Whatever.
Call it pop funk. Call it pop gospel. Call it whatever you want, but it's pop music to its core. The first song we listened to off their first record had elements of funk, of soul, of R&B, but it's also a pop song.
Yeah.
So now I want to talk about the Nepo Babies thing. Because this is something that people have been really fucking digging into.
Well, and we did a whole episode on this.
Yeah. So their dad is a guy named Mark Lawrence, who is a filmmaker, screenwriter, and director. He is most famous for writing Miss Congeniality.
And as we know, Miss Congeniality is the biggest movie in Hollywood. And therefore, the spawn of the person who made that movie gets everything handed to
Exactly.
Yeah, when you make one movie, you're basically Spielberg.
The 2009, I believe, was Miss Congeniality?
I think it was before that.
Before that? Oh.
I think it had to be before. Yeah, I think it had to be.
It's a classic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Clyde began writing music when he was 4 years old. At 5 years old,
Somebody should have stopped him.
Or at least said, "Hey, kid,
You're not,
this is
you're
soul.
not allowed to do this.
Yeah, get out of the theater. Get into the soul."
at 5 years old, he got his first writing credit. His dad, Mark, was not happy with the options he was getting for the pageant theme in Miss Congeniality. And so he did what any sensible man would do, and he turned to his 5-year-old to write a song. Clyde wrote the song that ended up as like the theme, the pageant theme. William Shatner sings it in the movie, this was his first writing credit. He's the youngest member of the Songwriters Guild. Most of the TikToks basically will bring this up and say the only reason that he was able to do this was because he's a nepo baby. Obviously, I will agree.
Yeah, that's
five-year-olds don't get the option to be songwriters.
Usually, 5-year-olds are not seeking out employment.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why Blue Ivy has a lot of Grammys.
Right, exactly. But I will give the caveat of his dad did not tell any of the executives who wrote the song. He just played it for them, and they said, "Yep, that's the one." So yes, obviously the nepo baby part is why he got the opportunity, but it is not necessarily the guarantee as to why that it ended up being his song that was in the movie. Right,
And
It really says more about his dad couldn't write a good song.
Well, his dad
didn't write.
his dad's not a musician. That's the other really important part of the nepo baby thing. Obviously, we've pointed out before, and if
That's
you
the
know,
funniest part to me is it's not like he was like the composer on the movie or something.
Yeah.
Like
He was a writer.
subcontracted out to his kid or anything. It's like he had nothing to do with music.
Yeah. Then as Gracie got older, she ended up going into a career of acting, and that definitely, yes, her dad definitely helped her with that. Nothing.
And you would too.
Exactly.
This is like just that whole episode again. Of like, you discovered how Hollywood works.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And every industry.
Yeah.
It's important to mention also, Clyde did go to high school and college. As he was doing that, he was writing music. He went to college for music. Gracie was acting in her childhood, went to college, dropped out of college and her acting career to take Lawrence more seriously and start touring like crazy and do the Lawrence thing. So these two had opportunities that only exist in the nepo baby world, but it does not make their talent, and I'm specifically talking about musical talent, any more respectful or legit. Your dad writes a movie when you're 5 years old. It's like who in what world does a 5-year-old ever write a whole ass song in the first place? Like in no world will you ever meet a 5-year-old that's like, I wrote a song and it's actually coherent and is something,
Yeah,
right?
it's not just about poop.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And the whole thing of like they're technically proficient. Yeah, they are technically proficient, but like Clyde and Gracie have been talented their whole lives. They are talented people. And again, you don't write a song at 5 if you're not a little bit talented. Not just have that in you.
People with parents who are not even in an industry but well off in general get more opportunity to explore creative endeavors and not go work in a coal mine when they're 15.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's the unfortunate reality of like
Spawn point matters.
Spawn point. I understand that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Nice. Good job.
Yeah. 100% matters.
That's a good way. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
way to put it for these people on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I for all the people who say they're technically proficient, but here's the problems. I'm glad that we can still appreciate proficient musicians, but that's one slice of the pie. They actually write catchy, successful music. They sell out plenty of tour dates. They sell records. They do well. If you're looking at this from an objective standpoint, they are a successful band. I'd like to conclude this by asking another question, which is, what is the difference between them and say Wolfpack?
Yeah. Look,
I don't even know what that means in this case.
I do deal with this sometimes because as an alumni of University of North Texas, I went to grad school in their jazz program.
Yeah.
Both of you know that I'm not the hugest fan of jazz anymore, and I
Jazz school
don't
did that to you.
I don't play it. But here's my gripe with it is that I have played gigs where people go like, man, like what do you do? Like, how did you get to sound like that? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm from Canada. I've been playing since I was fucking 10.
Yeah.
And that's all I did my entire life.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, you're from Canada? How'd you get here? And I'm like, oh, I went to UNT. And they're like, that's why you sound good. You went to UNT.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, Okay, that there are like several rooms in several buildings in a town in Texas that I spent 3.5 years in.
Yeah.
But at no point did UNT put a chip in my fucking brain.
Right,
I
yeah.
sat in the room and did the work.
Yeah.
You went to school and learned something?
Exactly.
In
Yeah.
fact-
Oh, you're good at something because you went to school?
In fact, people drop out all the time.
Happens all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And so it's so shallow of a take to go, it's the blah, blah, blah sound. It's like the Berkeley sound. It's the UNT sound. It's like, no, it's these people fucking work their asses off.
Yeah.
And
People who
the
are talented
environment,
are going to gravitate
Yeah.
towards good music schools also. Like there's no way around that.
again, there's nothing wrong with white kids, black kids, any kid listening to any style of music, especially this day and age.
Yeah.
With streaming where everything is available to us. There's nothing wrong with us exploring those different genres. And in fact, as people with voices on the internet, we should be encouraging everyone to do that, not
Right.
dragging them to the fucking ground.
Exactly. The comparison of Wolfpack, they do the same kind of imagery. It's nostalgic. It's fun. They write, quote, modern funk and modern soul music. And Wolfpack is a band full of white guys, and they are goofy. And wow, wait, hold on a second. You can hear their song Back Pocket all over the fucking place. It is played in airports, in restaurants, in commercials, everywhere. And not a single person has given them the criticism that Lawrence has received about this.
Wonder why.
Wolf, I know where you go.
I think I
Wolfpack do
have
get
it
a
written
lot
down.
of, they do get a lot of criticism.
They get a lot of criticism.
Yeah,
But
for again not being the arbiters of funk.
well, because a lot of people are like, I hear a lot of people say Wolfpack's not a funk band. I'm like, great, they're not saying that. They're
Yeah.
writing music, man. Just move on. So I finish this off with a couple of questions. So is Lawrence bad?
No,
No.
I answer no. Based on the
Shocking.
based on the reviews of others, they are technically good, and the song is catchy. In my book, they sell tickets and records. All of this leads objectively not a bad band or a bad song. Do some people not like them? Of course.
yeah.
It's subjective, but to give it reasons, explanations, to try to justify your reasoning of not liking something, and especially when we're dealing with like people who are like, I know what good art is, I know what taste is. There was one guy in particular that I almost wanted to pull his shit up because it just infuriated me, but I appreciated it on some level, but he gave the song a lot of shit, and there was a comment that was like, what music do you like? And so he then was like, that's a fair question. I will address that. I like Stevie Wonder. I like To Pimp a Butterfly. I'm like, you like popular music. You like, none of this is a hot take. You like music that people like, and that's fine, but that doesn't make you like an arbiter of taste. Most of the shit that you're addressing that you like is shit that everyone will go, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good music.
Stevie Wonder, is he popular?
Well, that's the thing is it's not doing the thing that these people hope it does by
Right.
shutting Lawrence down or hurting them in any way. It's just showing that they're gatekeeping.
Exactly. Which do I think most comments on this are really stupid and based in internet reactionary echo chamber nonsense? Absolutely, I do. Get a life and a real opinion.
Yeah. What music have you made?
Yeah, or what music
Or what? Not even music. What the fuck have you made?
What
Like,
do you know about music? What do you like? And like I said from the very beginning, I'm biased. I like Lawrence. It's hard for me to listen to this stuff and go like, wow, you like
Target commercial.
that's the most it's the most like boring analysis of a song ever. If that's a bit, if this was just a meme, I'd be cool with it. But it has turned into so much more than a meme.
Well, and again, as a person who likes Lawrence Hagen, if I showed you some real soul,
Yeah.
if I sat you down, young boy, and showed you some real soul, would you go, oh, well, I don't like Lawrence anymore?
Exactly.
They've been lying and stealing.
They've been lying to me. And just as a couple of little like side notes here, Clyde Lawrence is not only a very talented musician, but an incredibly awesome person. If you'll recall, during the Ticketmaster Live Nation shit that went to Congress, Clyde Lawrence and one of the other members of the band, I think he's one of the horn players,
the trumpet player. I
yeah,
think.
yeah. They were people. They were testifying in court against this. They have always been awesome people who care about music first. And for everyone out there who's listening to this saying it's overproduced, they can't do it live. The real fucking twist of this whole thing is that the sound on TikTok, how everyone, it's a sound that you're reacting to. The sound that everyone is reacting to is from their live record, dumbass.
That's pretty great.
Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need. Tell me what you need.
I regret not going to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me what you need. BuzzFeed top 10 ways that you hate me.
It's live.
Just garbage music. It's so clear.
It's live. They're playing their instruments. I don't know.
That's a
what,
good point too, because in the video it even had the video clip of them doing it.
Of,
It didn't even
from
occur
this
to me.
record.
That was a good reveal.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that people are like just fully going off on this band like it's like the worst thing that ever happened to music, and it's full of so many like just blank, boring analysis, and the only one that we can possibly give is the potential of where the music comes from. But again, what do you want them to do differently? I think you're right. You said it perfectly. Open a discourse. Figure out what the
Help
right move
them.
is. Yeah, don't
Connect
just,
those. Connect the disconnections.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't
Exactly.
shut them off.
And if that was the criticism, like that was it, it'd be easier to talk about that and to actually like address it and want to talk about it and deal
Right.
with it.
Yeah.
But instead we're arguing about Target commercials and all the other stuff.
Yeah, it has been eating at me of how stupid people are about this. And I if you don't like it, that's fine. I don't care. You can not like whatever you don't want. I'm not saying that you have to like this fucking song. That never would be my point in this scenario. My point is just going to be that you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about when it comes to music, when it comes to any of this analysis. It's totally off base. Anyone who says it's a boring arrangement, anybody who says it's lacking creativity, again, what do you listen to, man?
Yeah,
What are you listening? That's just that's suddenly this like amazing piece of music. If you listen to anything that's on Pitchfork's top shit, you're listening to the most boring, bland production of my entire life. Like I just don't get it. And that's a blanket statement, and not entirely true, right? But you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
What do you listen to? But also, what do you contribute?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What's the great thing that you're doing? You're complaining about this into your phone. Like,
Yeah. For clout. That's it.
Yeah.
For clout. For the echo chamber.
These are probably the same people who are like praising The Penguin as like the best show in decades.
I haven't seen it yet, but
I've watched it and it's good. But people are like, "This is better than The Sopranos." And you're like, "Cool,
Hold on. Slow down.
like,
But-
grow up."
I'm actually really ashamed of Fantano for having that take.
Me too.
I'm surprised.
Not knowing a lot about him, I thought he was better than that.
Yeah, and
'Cause
initially
he
when I
always
saw
seems
that,
to have like actual takes.
yeah, and he's very thought out too.
Yeah.
But his that when I saw that video, I was like, oh, good. He's about to say, ugh, like those are some nasty vocals.
Yeah.
Like that's great. And then he shat on it. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But seeing enough of that hate has only made me want to listen to Lawrence more. But also for a brief second made me go like, oh, I don't know what I like.
Right.
Because I like that. And
Yeah.
I like the way that sounds. So I'm wrong.
No, I venture to say that anybody who has a negative take on the Lawrence stuff, that's not just you don't like it or like the analysis I said prior, that's like kind of that is valid. If you have an analysis that's anything of the things I mentioned, especially the Target ad, especially like the it's disingenuous, it's overproduced. I just don't know what music you like, what you listen to. I don't know what you could be listening to that doesn't sound overproduced. There's records that we've talked about this year that like sound raw and sound really good. You're not listening to South of Here by Nathaniel Rateliff. That record sounds like the bass drum sounds like the most pure bass drum in the world, right? But the Lawrence tracks are recorded by and played by real people. There is not an inch of this that's just like, what if we replaced it by this? It is you listen to that live record, you listen to the sound that everyone's hating on, and it sounds real, it sounds good. Lawrence is a talented band. They have stood the test of time, meaning they have been successful and continue to work hard and have only seen their career grow. And I am looking forward to seeing their career grow after this, because I think they're going to come out of this in a really positive way. And that's been the way that I've been able to like kind of not be so angry about this, is it's just like, I think that Lawrence is going to come out on the other side and be a more successful band because of this.
Yeah.
I think that's the truth. I also think that like there is a chance that because of the scene that we are in, I think that we have listened to a lot of singers and musicians that sound like the Lawrence people, and I think that could play a role in our assessment as well. But
Powerhouse singers?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do think that does change things. I think people who listen to her and say she's a weird singer, okay, fine, but she's amazing still. She's like if you don't like her voice, fine, put your phone down, listen to something else, and move on.
Yeah. I also don't make fun of people's staged moves. People are making fun of her shoulder dance thing, and it's like, number one, I doubt she can help that.
But also, that takes like a long time and confidence to develop what you're going to do on stage. So fuck you for having any. It's again,
you're supposed to stand there still.
Yeah.
My whole quote unquote thesis statement about this was that they are a corny band. I admit to that. They're cheesy. They're fun. Yeah. But I'm not using those in a derogatory sense. I'm saying that they're silly, and that there's nothing wrong with that. And if you're listening to this going, they got to be fucking serious all the time. Well, I don't know. Grow up.
Also, it's not like they're going around making claims like I invented gay pop.
Right. Yeah.
If we remember, I'm quoting Jojo Siwa.
Yeah, Jojo Siwa. Exactly.
That's the thing, is that they're not being high and mighty about that they're blazing a trail.
Yeah, exactly. So
well, they're not like pretentious in their interviews.
No.
Exactly.
They're just like, this is fucking exciting. Like,
No,
isn't this cool?
I watched an interview where Clyde was asked about the miscongeniality thing, and he was like, yeah. He's like awkward about it. He's like, I'll always be like, my biggest accomplishment will be I wrote the theme for this. Like, I'll never write anything better than that. And then he goes quickly to like, I've always been surrounded by music when I was a kid. Like, we was always a big part of my life and Gracie's life, and just switches into like the reality of it and not the awkwardness and not the, anyway.
Yeah.
And there's so many different things you could take away from these, these people, these things. And anyway, I do just want to kind of just end this with Lawrence. If you haven't listened to them and you saw TikTok, don't just ignore it. Just listen to them anyway. If you might like it. I don't know, but you're not gonna do yourself or the band any favors by looking at that and going, oh yeah, it does sound like a Target commercial. I'm not gonna listen to that. Then don't listen to Chappell Roan. Don't listen. Like that's it.
Don't listen to modern pop music.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So that's those are my book reports.
2 things. Magnum opus. And
like a double album.
We should all clap hands.
Clap
after this episode and say what good of a job you've done. Just it's like a further fuck you to Fantano.
Yeah.
I don't get
my
it.
God.
And that's fine.
Well, that's what he said in the video. Was like, well, after they finished this take, they definitely were hand slapping. And it's like, again, dude, what do you hate?
Reference.
Joy?
I thought that was a weird reference because he's irrelevant.
No.
What are we listening to, everybody?
Lawrence.
Legitimately, actually, yeah, I had been listening to Lawrence.
Well, now you got to go listen to their old shit too.
While we were sitting here, I downloaded the rest of it for my flight.
Good.
Because I've listened to all that, but it's been a while.
It's been a while. I forgot how good that the first record
the first
was.
time especially, yeah.
It's so good.
I hate I didn't start listening to them sooner.
Yeah.
Frankly. So,
Yeah.
Oh, you got more.
Go for it.
You got more?
I had an actual one that was like
Not just
not
Lawrence.
just Lawrence.
What is it?
Sorry, let me find it.
Oh my God.
What Now by Brittany Howard,
Oh.
Cool.
which I believe y'all talked about.
Yeah, I didn't. I listened to like a piece of that
Maybe-
record when it came out.
Yeah, it
but
might have been one song or something.
Yeah. I listened to like the first few songs, and I was like, "This is pretty crazy." And I need to give myself a full listen, and I never did.
Yeah, there's so
I
much
really enjoyed it.
new music that came out this year
Yeah.
that I fucking missed that record somehow.
There's no
I
good
know it
music
came
anymore.
out, but yeah, there's no good music. I've obviously been listening to I'm still listening to the Sierra Ferro record, so I'll bring it up for a 3rd time in a row. But Oh Brother, the Dawes record.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
continue bringing that up too.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
right,
great.
That came out, so you have to talk about
really
it.
good.
Yeah. I have listened to so many of the same things, but I listened to the new MJ Lenderman album, Manning Fireworks. I think you guys both had to listen to this album. I think it's really, his voice is a growing voice, but I think that
That's right up my alley, baby.
Like the first song, I was like, man, I'm in a good mood. Lyrically, it's not that, but the album just put me in a really good headspace, which I definitely needed after writing all the shit down about these 2 stories. Also, if you remember the band Wednesday, they released that record last year. It was really good. They had that one. It's like country and indie and also noisy. And they had that one song that slows up, speeds up, slows down. Yeah. He's the guitar player for that band. I didn't know that. I've listened to his album from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever. And I was like, oh, it's really good. I didn't know he was in that band. And he's great. So I think everybody should go check this record out. He's got a bit of, again, growing voice, but MJ Lenderman, Manning Fireworks. It is awesome. So that's about it. Anybody got anything else?
Good job, man.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please follow or subscribe whatever podcast app you're using to listen to this. If you're ever on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. If you're on Twitch, follow the channel. If you're on any of the opposite ones that I mentioned, go to the other one and follow that one. So if you're listening on Spotify, but you're not subscribing over on YouTube, go over to YouTube and subscribe. It helps us out a lot, and it's free. Just you don't have to like look at us. Just subscribe. And if you're like a person who likes Twitch, go follow us on Twitch. It's a fun platform doing more gaming stuff. We'll be live Friday.
Yep.
And then I'll be live Friday night with some gaming stuff as well. So come hang out over on Twitch. It's a blast over there. If you have any thoughts about when we were young or about Lawrence, especially about Lawrence, I do want to hear from people who potentially are really well thought out individuals and not just boring TikTok voices. If you have any thoughts about Lawrence, please email us at feedback@don'tfeedtheartist.com or DM us on any of our social media platforms. DFTA Podcast on Instagram, Don't Feed the Artist on TikTok. We would love to hear from you about this stuff. I'm interested in a real discourse with somebody who does not like this music and is trying to analyze it from a genuine place and not a place from the echo chamber, from clout, from anything like that. Because again, I'm biased. I know that. I like the music. It's hard for me to be like fully objective here, but yeah. So if you have any thoughts, please email us, DM us, all that good stuff. Go check out our Patreon. We've got fun stuff up there. And also, if you're watching this live or if you're listening, I'm posting. I'm like all the VODs of our past episodes are getting scheduled to get reposted. So every single day there will be a VOD up on YouTube of a past episode. So if you want to just watch it without having to deal with the intro and the outro and maybe a little bit of edits here and there, go watch that over on YouTube. Just if you're interested in that, it's there. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching and hanging out with us. And bye.
Good, man. That was great.
Thank you.
Not prepared for that.
Oh, we're going. It's still not muted. Uh-oh. They can hear us.